And we live, or at least I think so. Looks like I am live. This is my Mortgage Boss Talk. Live stream is my first one I've ever done. And thank you guys for joining me. I'm really excited about this. I haven't gone live ever because I was always scared I'd be talking to nobody. But I talk to myself in real life all the time, so no problem. So anyway, if you're new here, welcome again. I am Joy Bailey. I go by the Mortgage Boss on social media, including Instagram and all of the other outlets. And I haven't been behind a microphone hosting anything in a minute. So just to introduce myself, I have been in radio back way back in the day. I did radio in college and I majored in journalism, but some kind of way I stumbled into teaching and now I do mortgages. And so my channel is all about providing real estate advice to real people going through real life, cuz life be lifing. And so I'm really excited. I don't know how often I'm going to do a live stream, but I do think it'll be a unique way for me to get information out in a more conversational manner than, I have been with my regular uploads that I've been doing where I talk for, 10 minutes or so. So I want this to be really interactive and I want to create a very welcoming, encouraging environment where we can, like I said, have real conversations about real life. None of that Dave Ramsey stuff because who is living like that? So anyway. So let's see. All right, who we have in here? Hey, Templus. I did it. I'm live for the first time. I'm so excited. I don't know if you heard me earlier when I was saying I feel some type of way about going live because I don't think, I don't want to talk to myself. It's weird. But nonetheless, I appreciate you tapping in with me today. Hopefully we'll have some more people that would join us. Oh gosh, hey, what's up? Square Biz. I'm live. It's true. The rumors are true. Here I am. Losing it. I'm over here hot. I don't even know why. It's not like I'm scared to talk to people or anything like that. Oh, yes. Come on with these fire emojis. Hype me up. Okay. I'm over here. My earring gonna fall out. I mean, looking a mess of people gonna be like, what's wrong with her? Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you all joining me and encouraging me while I get through this. But the format that I would like to have is maybe, 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to talk about things that I experience in my real life job every single day and really talk about a lot of different articles and things that I come across that talk about real life situations. And so hopefully people will be able to use cautionary tales of others to avoid some of their own financial disasters. So I am really, really excited. So we're about 4 minutes into it. So I'm just going to roll right on into it now. Hang on. Okay. So I want to start with, I don't even know what I'm going to call it. Maybe like Ask the Mortgage Boss. I don't know. We're going to find out together as time goes by. But I do get a lot of questions and things from people in comments, DMs on Instagram. And I want to use this platform to share it with the masses. So one of the questions that I got it was a very interesting question because I only focus on mortgage. And I want to start with that disclaimer. My job is mortgage and mortgage only. It is only a small piece of someone's overall financial portfolio. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a credit repair specialist. I am licensed specifically to talk to people about homeownership, interest rates, and loan products that is going to help them achieve their individual goals. But this question was very interesting because whenever we approve home loans, it's based upon a particular debt to income ratio allowance for a particular mortgage loan product. So this question was, what does a realistic budget look like? I don't know, girl. Realistic is going to vary depending upon who you are and where you're seated in life. Some people might say, the traditional rule is something like 50% of your budget should be on household expenses. I think 30% might be, 20% is savings, and maybe like another 30% for other miscellaneous items. I will say this. 50% for somebody making $2,000 a month is going to be far more stressful than 50% of someone that's making $10,000 a month. You have a lot more money to kind of play around with. The big thing that people are often concerned about is being house poor. Am I going to be house poor when I get into my house? Will I still be able to go out to eat? Will I still be able to go on vacations? And will I still be able to shop and do all of the things that we often like to do? Generally speaking, for a house payment, while you can go up to 50% of your budget being used for a mortgage, again, depending on where you're seated in life, I wouldn't recommend it. But realistically, you want to probably stay in like a 30% or below range. So again, using a round number, if you earn $10,000 a month, then you could afford a $3,000 a month mortgage payment relatively comfortably. I say relatively because we don't care nothing about your gas bill. We don't care nothing about your daycare for your twins that you just had. We don't care anything about we do care about your alimony and child support payments, but we don't care anything about your side chick that you got to fund on the low so your wife don't find out about her. None of that is our business. We are only going to be focused on what we see that shows up on your credit report. So a realistic budget is going to be based on how you choose to live your life. I love me some Louis Vuitton. It ain't in my budget right now. Mortgage, I don't know if you've seen the news, but things are happening over here, okay? So when things were on an incline, I had a lot more disposable income to allocate to things that I really, really like. Another thing about me on this platform, I am very transparent. I tell all my business because I never want anybody to feel like I'm talking bad about them. I will say a realistic budget for some people might mean it's not very realistic to get you through your day-to-day living, and you might need to find a new job. I don't know why we're so scared to say that out loud to people. It's really weird to me because that is the answer sometimes. Like, you don't make enough money to live the life that you want, which is a whole nother topic. That's something that I talk about a lot in my private life. Is I don't understand, why is it that people feel that they have to live on this little bit of money rather than saying, no, I don't like that lifestyle. Let me go and get more money so I can live the life that I feel like I deserve. Really weird, but hey, that's just my personal my personal opinion. Yes, that's right. Not funding the side chick. You'll be surprised what I see. I have seen men come to me when they're getting their mortgage for a house, and they're like, "Hey, does my wife have to find out?" What? Okay, it's true. I'm just saying. Anyway. Hey, oh, all around natural beauty. Oh, Lord, y'all, we got a celebrity in the building today. My girl was on the lead attorney, sharing all of her knowledge about being a registered nurse as it pertains to, I'm sure you all have heard about Shanquilla Robinson's situation, young lady that was unfortunately attacked, so much so to the point where her neck was broken and she died when she was in Mexico, which that is, I mean, she's from Charlotte and I live in Charlotte. So it's something that's in our local news, but she has spent a lot of time talking about that subject matter from the perspective of a nurse with nursing experience dealing with patients that I believe are paraplegic or quadriplegic. And so she was able to get the attention of a lot of people. So I think that's pretty dope. Thank you so much for joining me, and we appreciate you sharing your 30 years of nursing experience as well, with the community. But what I'm saying is, as far as a realistic budget, like I said, realistic is a subjective term. It's relative to you. I have friends that make a lot of money and they live dirt poor. And I think it's weird. But it's based on what they have, what they feel is appropriate for how they want to allocate their funds. It's based on what are your priorities in life. Are your priorities to look super fly and super fresh? I just left the mall. My son, he's a 14-year-old boy. He's a growing teenage boy. And oh my God, like, y'all don't understand. Like, it's stressful having to buy clothes for a grown boy. I think it should be against the law. Buying men's clothes at grown-up prices for a growing child, like, they should do something about that. But that's another story for another day. However, as far as a realistic budget is concerned, that unfortunately is part of the way that we're gonna have to roll for a little bit. He's going to outgrow a lot of the clothes that I buy him very quickly, and a lot of shoes. And shoes $230 now for Jordans. But anyway, again, another story for another day. So realistic is based on what you and your values are. And for me personally, my budget, because it fluctuates so much, because the beauty of being in sales, the thing that I like about sales so much is something that somebody told me a long time ago. When you're in sales, you don't have to save up for anything. You have to sell up to it, right? So if I decide for my birthday next month, shout out to the Capricorns, that I want to go on a vacation, I need to hustle up some loans so I can spend $2,000 to go on a vacation or whatever it is. Everybody's budget is going to be different. But for the purpose of a home, a realistic budget, about 30% is going to be spent on your mortgage. You have to personally factor in those miscellaneous things that we don't factor in. Like I said, your gas bill. A lot of people want big fancy houses. I'm guilty of that. Honey, baby, $200 a month. I need somebody to come clean this thing for me because it's exhausting. Because I cannot continue to clean up after my 14-year-old. He acts like he's 4 years old. Son, why is it dishes in your room? But whatever. You have to factor in, your car payments. We factor that in as well, but we don't factor in, your $4 a month, $4 a gallon gas. And you might have to fill it up, 4 or 5 times a month. We don't factor in you having to buy your kids shoes. We don't factor in you playing Santa Claus in December. It's a lot of things that we don't consider that you are going to have to, I would recommend maybe creating like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that and going down, itemize, look at your actual bank statement. It's a scary place to go because I had no idea I was spending like $900 a month on restaurants, but baby, it was so good. We having steak for lunch every day, but not anymore. But that's a good place to start and realize what are you actually doing when you're swiping your card. But for me, my housing is the most important thing to me because I care about the neighborhood I live in. I care about the amenities that are in the neighborhood. I care about living in a safe space. Some people don't care about that as much. I mean, I cared about having a nicely furnished home. It's money. All of those things are going to pull on your budget. But if you don't care about those things, then hey, you don't care about those things. So I do have a question here. Let's see. Square Biz says, how much does somebody save before looking to buy a house? All the money. A lot of the money. One of my somewhat pet peeves is when people are looking for the bare minimums to everything. What's my minimum credit score to buy a house? What's my minimum? How much do I need at a minimum so I can, save just the minimum to get into the house? Generally speaking, you want to have, if you're talking about minimums, if you're a first time home buyer, 3%. I live in Charlotte, and right now I believe like we're at average like 400, maybe a little bit more, so let's call it 400. A minimum down payment is going to be 3% on a conventional loan, so that's $12,000. I would say times it by 2 so you could cover your own closing costs. That's $24,000. And to really boost your overall profile, you want to make sure that you have some money left in the bank. That doesn't necessarily have to be your checking account or your savings account, but maybe a 401k or, some stocks or things like that, in the event that things start to take a shift with your job. And I do have some videos actually talking about layoffs that are expected to come. And you will be able to have some extra money stashed away. So then, if things do take a turn, you'll still be able to make your monthly mortgage payment every single month. So great question. Let's see. So no money, no problems. More money, more problems. It's so funny that you say that because it kind of is a good lead in to what I was going to talk about today, which is a current event. So I want to, like I say, infuse current events and things that are actually happening, like water cooler conversation, and put my opinion in the matter, things that people are actually talking about that can translate or actually do pertain to home ownership. Oh gosh. Hey, Chastity. Thank you for joining. All right. So y'all tell me what all do you all do to set your budget for a month? I mean, is 30%, don't you think, do you think that's realistic? Or would you spend 50% of your budget on a house payment? Let's see. Okay. So more money, more problems. Y'all, here's another thing. I go on like Facebook message groups a lot, and I see lots and lots of comments where, people are feeling really exhausted and exasperated. And they're like, I'll never be able to afford a house. I'll never be able to get a $400,000 house. Who can afford a $3,000 a month payment? And my answer is always a lot of people. A lot of people can. Okay. A lot. Oh, who can get a 7% rate? A lot of people can. Okay. Because people earn a lot of money. But it's not always about the amount of money you make. It's about how much money you spend, y'all. I want to share this article with you. And y'all might have seen it already. But get into this. Let's see. Get into this. And like I said, I'm in sales now. I want to be clear. I am in sales, and I love, love, love having the opportunity to take a peek into people's lives, their personal lives. But y'all, look at this. This lady here. Well, I don't know if it's a lady. Let me stop. Let me just read it, and then we're gonna circle back and we'll talk a little bit about what your observations are. Oh, somebody don't know how to work this. Okay. Oh, look. Can I make it go up and down too? No. Um, hold on a moment, you guys. I'm getting it together. Hang on. Sorry. Well, I'll start here. I'm paycheck to paycheck. I make $350,000 a year, US dollars, but I have $88,000 in student loans, $170,000 in car loans, and a mortgage I pay $4,500 a month. Do I need professional help? The comments were vicious when I scroll down to see what people's thoughts were about the situation. Y'all, first of all, when the article is shown, it shows like a woman. It's like a stock photo of a female. I don't know why, but I automatically, in my mind, completely read this and I thought it was a woman, but it never actually says if this is a male or if this is a female. Do you think this is a woman or a man? Because $170,000 in car loans, I mean, it's giving man vibes to me. But in my head, I was like, oh my God, she's such a boss. $350,000 here. You go, girl. Women's empowerment. I don't know. But the lady has $170,000 in credit. And that's so interesting because, yeah, 170,000 in car loans. And you look shocked. But here is the gag. See, everybody is shocked. Look, oh my, yeah, everybody is stunned. Tim Bliss said, was it for a train? $170,000 for a train? Is that what you're saying? It is a lot, but it's not a lot. Okay, so let's unpack this. I'm going to tell you how I see this scenario because these are identical scenarios I get all the time when people call and they're like, oh, I want to buy a house. The first thing is like, how much money do you make? Right. And because we do everything on a month to month budget, I break everything down because I'm trying to figure out if the percentages are going to work for the budget that we have. So the article goes on to say, let me see. Hang on. I'm trying to see, I need to see the article so I can read it. How do I see it? Can I see it and you all see it at the same time? Like to make it bigger and I can scroll? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Can I do that? Oh no. Hang on. Oh no. Hang on. Give me a second. Okay. You can see me again. All right. Share the window. What you mean share the window? I'm trying to I want to see it and like be able to scroll through the article, but I want you all to see it as well. Does that make sense? Or do I need to have a separate monitor for that? Oh my gosh. Yes, I really am. Yes. That's exactly what's happening right now. But it's okay. We'll fight through it. The tab with the article. Okay. I hope y'all can see it. Okay. Okay. So, okay, I'm paycheck to paycheck. So, let's kind of unpack this a little bit. So when people come to me, they're like, hey, this is how much money I make. I pull the credit report so I can see how much money that they have going out. And that allows me to get a debt to income ratio. I've already sort of calculated out how much money this lady is spending. And to give you just a general idea, so just so you understand, $350,000 divided by 12 is $29,166 a month. Teachers don't make that in a year, some places, which is pretty interesting. Teachers don't make that in a year a lot of times. So that is more than enough money, in my opinion, to be able to live a pretty comfortable life. But in real life, we have taxes. That's another thing that we don't account for. Whenever we do your debt to income ratio, we are not factoring in your taxes. We're looking at your before tax income. So, I mean, we could probably cut this in half, really, right? So let's assume that she's paying all her taxes on the front end, $29,000. Let's take out, I'm going to take out 30%. That leaves her with a meager $19,249 a month that she has to spend on her life. So she says she's struggling, right? So she has a $4,500 a month mortgage. Well, according to what I said earlier about your mortgage payment being up to 30%, she is well below, well, if it's a woman. Like I said, I made that up. This individual is well below an affordable mortgage payment. But y'all, here is the kicker. This is the part where everybody seems to be getting tripped up. $88,000 in student loans. We don't care about that. $88,000 in student loans. We can take out $800 a month as a payment. Why do I say $800 a month as a payment? Because for us, we will go up to about 1% of your outstanding student loan debt to create a payment if you're on like a income-based repayment plan. I also know that when you have an amount this much, as long as it's not private, because I don't know a lot about private loans. So let's assume that these are federal loans. This is going to be amortized over 20, 25 years. My best guess is that this person probably has a master's degree just based on the amount of money that he or she is making. It's going to be a girl. It's a her. It's a her. You go, girl. Go, sis. $350,000 a year. That is an amazing job. Now, the part that they also don't tell us is where they're located geographically throughout the United States. Again, in my head, I'm making it up. I don't know. Probably somewhere up north. I don't know. I'm making it up. But that's not a lot. I mean, regular people have $88,000 in student loans. But y'all, when I was going through the comments, people were laughing. They were like, how do you make $350,000 a year and you just paying off your loans? That's stupid. Why would she not just, I'm going to give you the little bit every month that I'm supposed to, and we're going to keep it pushing. Because again, I'm all about real estate advice for real people in real life. Other people might say something like, oh yeah, get out of the debt first before you go and get a car and a house. But again, I think $800 a month, that's nothing. So we're still in a good scenario here, right? $350,000 a year after taxes is $19,000 a month minus a little $800 or $900. I'm even go up to $1,000 a month in a student loan payment and $4,500 a mortgage. Y'all tell me, drop down in the comments, how much do you think her house costs? If she's paying $4,500 a month in a mortgage, how much do you think that her house costs? Any idea? Yeah. I used to be a teacher. I know that life. I know that life very well. Very well. That's hard. You see, I don't do it anymore. I think with my master's degree, and I live in Charlotte. With my master's degree, I went from making, I think, 37,000 to like 42, something like that, or from 34 to 37,000, something like that. It wasn't a huge upgrade. Okay, so I like it. So we got 600,000 as a guess, 800,000. Yeah. I have two 800,000s. Yes. Yeah. So that's about right, right? So generally speaking, you can comfortably afford 350 as her salary times 3.5. She could technically afford $1.2 million pretty easily. So she's not struggling so far, not based on the debt to income ratio requirements that we're talking about. However, y'all, if this lady has an $800,000 house, let me see. How can I share this other? Stop that screen. I calculated it out. Look at this. Well, because I don't know where she lives, I did the best that I could to calculate it out. Let me see. Hang on. Is this it? Why are so many tabs open? What's wrong with me? I got a million tabs open. I have no idea. All right. Look at this. So I made some assumptions on a $650,000 a year house. Can y'all see this? Okay. On $650,000 a year on a 30-year term, assuming her rate is 5%. I have no idea. This lady could have got this house, 2 years ago at 2.5%. But her payment, principal and interest payment, is only $34.89. She probably, I'm guessing, has, another $1,000 plus in property taxes and another, $300 a month or so in homeowners insurance. So that's very, very easy to hit that. So, 650, 700 is my guess on about, how much she has as how much house she's living in right now. That's a lot of house. And again, I don't know where she is. If this is California, then she's not living in a big house. But here in North Carolina, it's a basketball player down the street. For real. In this particular scenario, this lady is going to have a massive, let's assume this is a 4,000 square foot house. This lady is going to have a massive gas bill to heat the home every single month. This lady is going to have a massive electricity bill. But if she make it $350 a month, she probably not even at home. She's probably working around the clock. So I don't know. She's going to have somebody come in and help her clean. That's money. Okay. All of this is contributing. This is a lot of money out of her $19,000 that she has left every single month. So getting back to, I really have got to figure out how to get two screens up. Okay, so getting back to the article here. Let me see. All right. The $170,000 is where people seem to get stuck. The only reason, this is my personal opinion, y'all. I need y'all to stop throwing rocks and you living in glass houses. Okay. $170,000 is about half of her annual salary. That's normal. I said it. I said it. The only reason why people are cringing and can't believe, oh my God, $170,000 is because you would have to admit that you don't need a $800 a month car payment on your $55,000 a year salary. Who she talking about? She talking about me? Might be. Might be. I see it all the time. I will never forget. I had a young lady come to me last year. She wanted to purchase a home. She just graduated. It was this time last year, December. She had just graduated. All of the things. And y'all, my good sis had a 96-month, I'm going to say it again, 96-month long car payment time. No, the payment was not $200 a month, $300 a month. It was like 7 something, like some ridiculous amount of money. People do this all the time. The only reason, Scorpius, I ain't talking about her. The only reason that people are a bit stunned by this and are ready to throw stones at this lady, man, is because these are numbers that you're not used to seeing. If we start divvying things up in percentages, you're going to realize that y'all live in the same life. The very same situation. I know people that have 2 and 3 cars. Regular people, 2 and 3 cars. They might live with their mama, but they're regular people. Schmegular, regular people. 170,000. So let's look at this in more normalized terms. If I make $100,000 a year, you think that I don't have a $50,000 car? A $50,000 car? That's a used Mercedes, y'all. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Not even a little bit. People were in the comments and they were just like, what, does she have a Bugatti? I did the math on this too, y'all. Y'all know what the payments are like on $170,000 over 5 years? What do you think the payment is like on $170,000? Now, mind you, this person has 2 car loans. This is not just one car. It's 2 cars. And the article does talk about that. Two. Okay. So it's not hard. It's 2 electric vehicles, by the way. Now, I don't know why you would need 2 electric vehicles. I would think just one is fine, but whatever, girl. Live your best life. 2 electric vehicles. So that's about $3,400 a month in car payment. So we got $19,000. We're going to take out her $1,000 in student loans, her $4,500. Oh gosh, $19,000 minus her $4,500 in mortgage payment, minus assuming $1,000 in her student loan debt, minus what I just say, about $3,500 in auto loans. She had $10,000 left. She had $10,000 left. One for work and one for play, maybe. 2 Teslas. It's not hard to do. It's not a difficult regular car. That's 2 $80,000 cars. It's not difficult. That's not hard at all. Now, I have an Acura, and I want to say it's an Acura RDX, so like the smaller SUV, and I lease it. but I want to say it's like 43,000, maybe a little bit less than that, to get like a regular basic base model BMW. Is that, I mean, not even having like no bells and whistles. Okay. You think this lady or this person gonna be making $350,000 a year and they don't think that they deserve to have real leather? Because I got fake leather seats. Don't judge me. Real leather. My dream car, I love is a Mercedes GLE coupe. Beautiful car. I want to say it's about $80,000. My homegirl got one. And I'm like, girl, come pick me up. Come scoop me. Y'all, the car, let me tell you about this car. Like when you sit in it, it massages you. What? The car massages. I'm like, oh my God. See, I don't be in traffic no more, so I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm okay. I work at the house. I deserve real leather. Okay. I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Go off. You got it. She got it. She got it for you and a friend. I'm telling you, you got what car you got? You got the GLE coupe with the your car does massage. You get massage when you're driving? I have questions. Oh my gosh. But no, like I absolutely love that car. I think it's an amazing car, but I can't do it. Like my soul, my homegirl got the AMG. Yep. That's exactly what she has. That's the car she has. Yeah. She loved it. Oh my gosh, she loved that car. But ooh, all you got to do, times it by 2 and we'll be at $170,000. So the point of the story is it is not a challenge. It's not hard. People are only shocked because they feel comfortable attacking somebody that they perceive to be rich. If we took this same scenario, because I see it every single day, there is no reason for a regular schmegular person earning less than $100,000 a year to be having no $1,000 Mercedes payment, to have no $800, y'all, and they don't even be fancy cars. Like I try to find like little slick ways to ask people, like, well, what kind of car is it? So the lady I was telling you with the 96-month payment, y'all, I think it was like a Jeep Wrangler. That cars don't even be fancy. Ain't no psych. No, we hear you over there on your channel talking about how to get all these credit cards. No, ma'am. You got it. You got it. All this YouTube money. Shout out to Terrell. How you doing? Thank you for joining. Terrell, we're talking about a lady. I don't know if it's a lady. I'm lying. I'm assuming it's a lady. I keep wanting her to be a lady. Y'all, does this sound like male behavior or female behavior? This individual basically earns $350,000 a year, has $170,000 of car debt, $88,000 of student loan debt, and a $4,500 a month mortgage. I don't know. I don't know anything about Jeeps. They can get expensive, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. But I still don't think that never mind, let me shut up. I don't mean not tell you my opinion. Again, when I think of really expensive cars, they're not Jeeps. I'll say that. It's possible. Why not? It's not hard. Well, the question that the lady is asking is, does she need financial help? And so I was going through the calculations that we have in mortgage. I mean, and so far so good. She has plenty of money left over. She has $10,000 a month left over after the debts that we calculated here. Now, Okay, so here's the rest of it. So she says by the end of 2022, she would have made he or she would have made $350,000 before taxes as the sole breadwinner and head of household. Come on, somebody. I love it. I'm here for all of that. Okay. So if it's a man, that means I don't know if he financing a woman or not, but if this is a lady like I have made up in my mind, go off, sis. She don't say nothing about having kids. I mean, she got it going on. I still don't know why she needs two cars, but that ain't my business. Okay. She said it's a great starting point and very aware of how blessed we are. I don't know who we, I don't know who's we. Sole breadwinner. Oh, so maybe they are married. Okay. So maybe this is an individual. So it's probably a man. I'm sorry. I do attach gender roles in the household. I'm sorry. Don't cancel me. So okay. So two cars. So this person is paying for Bay or Boo's car as well. Okay. So anyway, looking for ways to improve. Okay, I have $88,000 in student loans. Originally close to 150,000. You're doing better than me because my student loan debt is going up and not down. Very little in credit card debt. That is a great thing. Less than $2,000 with more than 25,000. That's great. That's perfect. I don't, but again, this is the problem that everybody seems to be on. They can't get over it. And the question was, they want to know if they should consolidate the debt. you know this is a stupid question in my opinion because it clearly says up here that the car payments are at 5%, but you want an equity line of credit at 9%. Like, why? I mean, I don't know what the plan would be. If you don't know how a HELOC works, it's basically like it's a line of credit. So this individual has some equity in the house, and so you don't have to get a check written out to you at closing for 200,000, but you have a span of time, usually about 10 years, to spend or to draw on that 200,000. So they would basically take, the I guess $88,000 in student loan. Well, I don't even know how this would work because your 200,000 wouldn't cover the student loans and the car payment. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. So this person clearly is not. I see why you got $170,000 in student loan debt. I mean, not student loans, but in car debt, because 9%, that doesn't make sense. They want to use it to do some small home repairs and improvements. They are okay. So let's see. I have been presented with a few long-term real estate investment opportunities that are rental properties out of state and are currently bringing it to 10 to 12% ROI. My biggest concern is that after taxes, 401k, bills, like I said, we don't care about bills, savings, which is great. I'm glad this person is saving money to sock away for a rainy day and other things like that. They're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I would imagine that the reason they feel that they're living paycheck to paycheck is not because of the bills, but because of the things like they probably have every possible subscription known to mankind. They probably vacation extravagantly. I would imagine so. This is a lot. I don't know. This is a lot. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Square Biz. I appreciate you posting it in the mastermind as well. Okay, so somebody come up here and join me. Talk to me a little bit. Tell me what do you diagnose this lady with? What is her problem? If he or she has a problem. Well, now I'm convinced it's a man because ain't no woman get ready. Let me not say that. I'm sure it's possible that a lady would let her man stay home while she goes out and makes $350,000 a year. But I don't think that's probable. So this person has got to be a man. Gotta be a man. Okay. I don't know how to put a link. How do you do a link to invite people to come? You click invite. Oh, ah! Look at that. Look, look at me. Did it do it? Boom. I did it. Hello, Mr. CKB. We talking about, oh man, my earring falling out. No, we're talking about this article that came out about a person that makes $350,000 a year living paycheck to paycheck, or they feel that they're living paycheck to paycheck. I did the math on it, and they're not living paycheck to paycheck. I don't believe so. I think that the reason why, after $350,000 a year, which after taxes, I took out 30%, so $19,000 a month, a $4,500 a month mortgage payment, roughly $1,000 in student loan payments. What else did I say? $170,000 in car debt, which ends up being like $3,500, something like that, a month. They still have plenty of money to live on. I think I got like $10,000, but I don't know how large the house is. I don't know what the bills are like. All of those things are very important, that, but I'm assuming that this person's probably, going out to eat a lot, buying expensive bags, buying expensive everything. Hey Ty, what do you think? Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm on.
Yeah, you on. I think. Can y'all hear her? I
Yeah,
think so. Can y'all
okay.
hear
I'm on.
her? Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I think it's a man. After you read through the article, of course, just like you said, I don't know any person, any. I don't know. I don't personally know a woman
I don't
that
either. I ain't
that
met her.
makes three
I
hundred
ain't met her.
fifty k, and she's the only person working in her household. So I do think it's a man. And two, um, I was gonna say, okay, so after all of these payments, the house, the cars, and everything like that, and they have 10,000 left over. I guess we're not accounting for, like you said, the two twins in daycare. We're not accounting for, just like
She
you
probably
said,
got a nanny. I bet you this lady probably
probably
stay at home and
au
got a
pair
nanny.
or something like that, right? She we're not accounting for the you said the gas bill, the gas electric bill, the
Mm-hmm.
water bill, the
Mm-hmm.
all the other bills that come with maintaining a house. And I was saying, like, if I'm paying $4,500 a month on a house, I shouldn't listen. I don't know what they're trying to upgrade in that house, but
But that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of things that we don't know, right? Like, I'm sure that when a lot of people hear this, they're automatically assuming it's a big 4,000 square foot house and all of this. But a house in Texas versus a house in New Jersey, we're talking about two totally different scenarios, right? Or if this
true.
house is in California, you know what I mean? Like, it's a
I mean,
lot of things that we're not talking about.
I guess I can understand that if you're living in New York or something like that, $4,500 may not be, this big, grand uh um house, right? I can understand that.
Do
And
they
if
have
we don't know.
cars? Do they use cars? Would somebody need two cars in New York? I mean, well, I guess
Well, I
outside
guess
of New York
you
City.
got to ask Mr. CKB about that one, but I would think if you're not living in the city, maybe you're living out, in Queens or LI, something like that. I guess you would need a car.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But
I
yeah,
hear
that
it.
was just my little 2 cents.
Yeah, then yeah, it's a lot of things that we're not factoring in. But to your point, I am positive for these twins that we totally made up and gave these people. Well, yeah, totally made it up.
They're 1.5, 2.5
The,
kids.
the lady is at home. The lady is not only at home, but she probably has a full-time nanny. I gotta fix this light. She has a nanny, and they gotta pay the nanny too.
But do they need a nanny if she's not working? I mean, I don't know. Let me get
People
on
do
it.
it. No, people do it.
Oh
People
no,
do that.
I know they
It's
do.
ridiculous, but
I
they
know they
do.
do. I know they do. It's no way I could be going on and telling someone that, I make this amount of money and no one else in the house works. And even, I don't know. I mean, men have different, I guess, I don't want to say rules, but they look at things differently when it comes to marriage and relationships. And he may not want his wife to work for whatever reason, that he wants, but you gonna be living paycheck to paycheck? Like, I
Some
don't
people don't
know.
have a
I don't
problem with
know.
it.
Hmm?
Some people don't have a problem with it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, at what point, if I'm living paycheck to paycheck, at what point do I say, you know what, maybe I can't necessarily finance this lifestyle of where my wife doesn't work?
So I hate to bring this up, but I mean, I saw in one of the clips because I didn't really know Kevin Samuels. Like, if it wasn't on the Shade Room, I didn't know anything about it. The one and only time I watched him was the Will Smith situation, and I watched from beginning to end. But
Mm-hmm.
I do recall seeing some clips where he was talking to ladies and was like, "Well, how much money do you think people need to make? A man needs to make to be able to fund you and him too?" And the numbers they were coming up with were ridiculous. But working in a bank, I found that happened a lot. I had a manager. He has 3 children. His wife stayed home. Very intelligent lady. I think she had been a college professor in the past. And he pays for everything. Pay for everything,
Oh, I
it
mean, I
happened
get it.
like,
I'm not opposed to that. That's not at all. I'm just saying, like, okay, so now, okay, this person pays for
well, he wasn't
everything.
making no $350,000 doing it.
Oh, got it. But he probably didn't have a $4,500 mortgage and $170,000 in debt and 2 Teslas either. But what I'm
No.
saying is, like, at what point does a person say, you know what, like, okay, yes, I make this amount of money, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck, which is not a comfortable lifestyle, right? I wouldn't think living paycheck to paycheck is something comfortable that someone wants to stay in. So at what point, what goes first? Does the Teslas go first? Does the house go,
Hmm.
first? Or does no, my wife got to go get a job.
What would you cut first though? So okay,
Oh,
I'm,
the
I'm
Teslas,
thinking that
they will go
I think
first.
they're living or feeling that they're living paycheck to paycheck only because maybe vacations and things like that. Because
True.
I just went through the budget, and like I said, if they were applying for a home loan, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is easy, no problem.
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
okay, so what goes first? All of the stuff that I don't necessarily need would go first, right? So if
Hmm.
it's the trips, if it's the steak dinners every single night, if it's that stuff goes first, right? And then those Teslas are coming. Like, we don't have to get the Tesla. We don't have to get the $80,000 Tesla, right? We could definitely get a Mercedes Benz GLE, maybe not the coupe, maybe we can get the four
Hmm.
door, right? Nice SUV,
Hmm.
which is going to cost you, and that can cost you about 60,000, right? That's definitely
Hmm.
not the 80,000. That's another 20,000 you just saved right there, right?
Hmm.
um I mean, it's so many things that you can cut that you don't necessarily have to live paycheck to paycheck, not unless you want to, right? He's asking, do I need help? I don't know. Do you like the way you live?
But
Right.
they have money to save. The reason why I'm taking my stance is they fine, and the reason why I say they're fine and people are shocked is the $170,000 of auto debt. That was the only comments that I saw was about the auto debt. He has money. He or she has money for savings. They said they're saving in a 401k. They have savings. They said after all of these things, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So I mean, I don't think they really living paycheck to paycheck. It might just be perception, right? Sometimes, depending on how you budget your money, like how we talking about earlier, everybody's realistic budget looks a little bit differently.
True. Definitely true. And like I said, it just depends on if that's something that he's comfortable with. If he's comfortable with the, living paycheck to paycheck, then, go forth and prosper. As long as you're paying your bills, um I think that's fine. Right.
Yeah.
But but you're asking if you need help. That means I don't know if you're too comfortable, to me, right?
But they still want to borrow more money, right? So I
And
have
they want to
recently
borrow
been
more money.
offered $200,000 HELOC at 9%. The car debt is only 5%. And again, I am making an assumption. They probably got this house, prior to this year. So I know that their interest rate is less than 5%. So I don't know. It says just to do small repairs. I don't know what they're looking to consolidate. I have no idea. They only have $2,000 a month in credit card debt. So there's nothing to consolidate there.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either, girl.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's interesting to me. But this is why I thought, see, it's a lady. That's why I was like, oh, it's a lady. It's a lady. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, girl. But okay, I don't want to hold you. I am enjoying the stream. Congratulations on
Oh,
your first one. This is good.
oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, girl. Bye.
Thanks. All right. Let's see. What do we have here? Do we Okay, so what else taxes looking like? So I don't know, but the way that we calculate taxes in mortgage, on a high end, just to determine whether or not this is going to be affordable, we'll take 1.25% or assume 1.25%. So we arrived at this might be, I use a $650,000 house or loan amount. So I mean, and then I allocated $1,000 a month in mortgage, and then like another $300 a month in insurance, which is super high, by the way. So the house is probably even more than that, but I over budgeted for the taxes and the insurance. But yeah, I mean that's how we arrived at that. Now in New Jersey, oh, whew, 12 $18,000. I saw a house one time in Illinois. Someone was purchasing, or they wanted to refinance, and their principal and interest payment was actually less than the tax bill. So it can get up there for sure. It can get up there for sure. Miscellaneous factors, Mr. CKB, did you factor in miscellaneous costs? What do you consider miscellaneous costs? Because I'm thinking, and again, I don't know if this is a man. Well, we don't know if it's a man or a woman, but after realizing that somebody else is in the house, we're assuming that this is a man that's going out working every day. But miscellaneous factors, like I said, when we do mortgages, we are not considering anything other than what is showing up on your credit report and your projected payment, principal, interest, taxes, mortgage insurance, homeowners insurance, and any HOA costs. Based on that, this person is okay. All right, you guys, Mr. CKB got something you want to say. What's up?
Hey, what's the word? What's the word? You can hear me?
Hey, I can hear you.
I'm outside right now, so if you start hearing horns blaring and all that, that's that New York stuff. Listen, it's Sunday night. It's people outside. It is what it is. I'm actually headed to dinner. Well, I'm about to head to dinner in a second. But I saw you on. Actually, I saw what's the name? Square Biz about to get on. So I just let me see what's going on over here. So anyway, to your point, so what's happening here? When I say miscellaneous expenses, it's not necessarily miscellaneous, but it's miscellaneous to the extent that it's not an actual utility. So, for example, people that I know that make a few dollars, and especially if they have children, you have tennis lessons, you have golf lessons, you have private schooling, you have
Oh,
after school
yes, they
programs,
probably
you
do go
have
to private school. That makes sense. Okay.
yeah, and you have a lot of different things. You have upkeep, as if
The
that is a
lawn.
guy, if yes, well, I wouldn't even say lawn because it's relatively cheap. I'm not gonna get into my expenses, but it could be cheap. Like you're talking about anywhere like $120 a month, to get your lawn done. So I wouldn't look at that, but
On a six
private
hundred
lessons,
thousand dollar house? I mean, see,
according to
I'm
what,
imagining a different style house. Never mind.
but you gotta stay in New York. A trash can, what you would consider a trash can house is a $500,000 house. So that's not I'm in New York. That's not like in Texas or wherever else. So
Uh-huh.
I'm just only looking at it from a Eastern Coast perspective, or at least where homes are highly pricey and you don't really
Mhm.
get the bang for your buck. New York homes, even when you talk about Long Island, and Long Island, 650,000 wouldn't even get you far. You're talking about 800, 850, even $1 million to get you some real decent property that a person that's making $350,000 would be happy about. The average Joe that's grossing combined, not even single, but combined, can get you like a 650,000 house in a hood. But what I wanted to speak on in terms of the miscellaneous expenses or the miscellaneous costs are that like lessons, after school program. I actually, when you make that kind of money, you're typically in a specific kind of demographic of people who you socialize with. So you have expensive dinners, you have banquets, you have a wardrobe that you have to upkeep. Depending upon, that sounds like somebody that have a professional job. You typically don't have people who make $650,000 and they're like bus drivers. You typically don't have that. I mean, 350,000 a bus driver. So if you're looking at a professional person, then they definitely have expenses they have to shut out to whatever professional role they have, typically like their own business. So and if they have their own business, that's possibly a salary that they pay themselves. But even if you take it off a professional level and look at like you had like a tech position, or you're just a regular doctor, or maybe perhaps an attorney at a high paying firm, you have that upkeep in that particular lifestyle. But listen, I know a few attorneys who live with their parents and they make a pretty decent penny because they manage, their money management is that trash. Like, so it could be a number of factors. And I think the only way you can really answer that kind of question is if you, as you do, when you screen a person for a mortgage, you get their expenses. You got to get the total expenses.
I don't care about that. I don't care about it. The only thing I went through the math. I calculated their student loans, projected payment, the payment that they gave, the credit card. They could buy a house. They could buy a more expensive house. They can get a $1.2 million house easily.
Now listen. I'm going to go in. I'm going to spin it to like a dark realm. What about people with habits? And habits, obviously not something illegal, but habits in terms of gambling, habits in terms of like some sort of alternative lifestyle that amounts to that, or perhaps they taking care of family. You also have people who make a lot of money, but they have familiar expenses that's outside of their home. Like they may be taking care of people outside of their home. They may have other outside obligations. They may have taken on other outside debts, or perhaps before they even was able to amount that kind of money, they had a lifestyle that they was probably hemorrhaging in debts. So they probably catching up. The only way a person can rationally understand how a person is making that amount of money, living paycheck to paycheck, and that's dependent if they live where I'm at in New York, is if they have the New York kind of expenses, meaning they have a home that's not paid off, it's paying a mortgage, and all that comes with that. They have all the
mortgage was only $4,500 a month. In this scenario, they say their mortgage payment was $4,500 a month. They have $170,000 in car, which I calculated that out, and it's about $3,000 a month. So they have $10,000 left over, roughly, after all of their debts that I would calculate.
But that's $10,000 of petty pension. When you have $10,000 of extended funds that you can, essentially trick off, you tend to have a lifestyle that amounts to that. Like, listen, most people live at their means, live exactly at most people. So it's not far-fetched. Like, you could have somebody to make minimum wage. Minimum wage out here is $15 an hour, and they'll have a lifestyle that amounts to $19 an hour. You have people that make $100,000, their lifestyle is $110. That's just the nature of people. Most people aren't frugal. Most people don't, especially in this climate that we live in. Most people live exactly at their means or above. So it's not necessarily too far-fetched. I know, I happen to know some people that make some bread, and they, I wouldn't say that they paycheck to paycheck. They, they got some scratch that they could, if a emergency happened, they could get themselves up out of it. But they're not like, swimming in cash. So
I agree. No. Like I'm with you. Like as I was reading, and I was reading some comments and things that people had to say, people were ripping this individual apart. They couldn't fathom it. The audacity that they make so much money. What do you mean? And they attacked the $170,000 in car debt.
But you have to understand, most
That's
people that
not
speak
hard.
on Listen, most people that have an opinion are people who don't live, who never experienced that. That's just the reality. So it's when you're making that much, that's a lot of money for even for somebody like myself. That's a lot of money to be making a year. And when you're making that, you live a whole different life.
You sure do.
Like you live a whole different life. And I just scratch the surface of if you have children and you have tennis lessons or golf lessons. We're talking about tutoring. We're talking about 9 times out of 10, if you make that money, you have a life that requires you to stay outside the home a lot. So you may have a nanny expense. And I know Miss Bit Square Biz, mentioned that y'all kind of had a, but that comes with the territory.
It does.
In fact, that's actually expected when you live if you're engaged in a particular kind of lifestyle and engaged in a specific demographic of people in your network, your social network. If that's what everybody else do, that's expected. Together with tips, trips, celebrations from various holidays, and it's so much that could come up. Like $10,000 could go like that relatively quick, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Don't worry. I know. I've been to the mall a few times.
Yeah.
I understand.
But I just don't.
You're right, though. No,
I
was going to say you're exactly right. I agree with everything that you're saying. With the part I didn't think about when you start talking about like tennis lessons and things, because that is a different life. You're absolutely right.
Like, listen, I play tennis. I play tennis, and it's not cheap. Membership it's not necessarily, you're not gonna go bankrupt, but still in all that $500, $700 a month that you're spending, and that's just for myself. Like that could go to something else. It just adds up. At the end of the day, it just adds up. And so when I speak of miscellaneous expenses, I'm not talking about somebody, getting an extra dinner here and there. It's gonna cost $300-400. I'm talking about just the general expense of it all, and that adds up. $500 isn't nothing when you're talking about 10,000. But if you have 15 different $500 bills, you got 10,000, or close to it. So that's all.
So if this was you, and this is your wife that's sitting at home doing nothing, at what point, would you cut any expenses? Would you make her downgrade her car? Because she ain't contributing nothing. Would you what would you do to amend the circumstances?
You listen, I have to respectfully say this wouldn't be me. Let me just put that out there. It wouldn't be me. But if that was me, if I was in that circumstance,
what you trying to say? You would ball out on your wife?
Well, that's what you're trying to say. But if that was me, and if I was in that circumstance, it would be 2 questions to ask. Am I okay with living the way I'm living? Because some people are content with living that paycheck to paycheck, even though it's a little struggling, even though it's a little raggedy. But at the end of the day, if that's what makes your circle happy, and you're happy with their happiness, then you're gonna stay like that. So that's the question. Whether am I content and happy with this kind of lifestyle? If I'm not, right? Because that's the question that you're asking. If you're not content, you want to make some changes. I think the first changes would be the extracurriculums. And extracurriculums is not. I mentioned tennis lessons. That's not an extracurriculum. In fact, that could create the trajectory, not just with the social network that your kid could have, but also potentiality of scholarships and such. So that's not an extracurriculum. In fact, I would say that's one of the mandatory expenses. No different than you sending your kid to karate school or sending your kid to basketball training or something. Same, well, it just looks more expensive. But the extracurriculars that I'm mentioning, it's you may not have to ball out on a suit every month, because suits cost. Again, I'm not going to speak on my expenses, but suits cost. You may want to downgrade a little bit on outside dining, unless it's like an event, an engagement, or something that you're doing that you requires professionally. In fact, when I bring on a chef, chefs are actually cheaper than going out. It's more hassle, it's more things you got to move around, but it's just more cheaper. So you can actually hire a professional chef, and that's a different flair. That's a different experience, depending upon what kind of chef you have. So I would switch. I would manage it in a different way.
Okay.
Because to completely do a downgrade, and you have to understand from a man perspective and what that could do to potentially harm your marriage. To go on a complete downgrade could be implosive to your marriage. So I would offset it in a way that it's not necessarily changing your lifestyle, but it's changing the cost of that lifestyle. If that makes any sense.
So you wouldn't make her work?
Well, so again, that wouldn't be me, and that's what you're saying. First, you can't make anybody do anything. If that person thinks, if that whomever you're married to, and if it's a guy or gal, because again, I haven't heard you say if it was a guy or gal.
We don't know. We've been making it up the whole time.
Right, yeah. right. So again, it's according to the circumstances. What if the person was handicapped and they can't work physically? You know, what if
don't be doing that lawyer Jedi mind trick stuff on me.
I'm just saying because there's so many different working parts.
This is a regular person.
Right. But listen, you don't think raising a household is work? You don't think that's work? I think it's hard, depending upon what kind of lifestyle you have. Listen, managing a guy that's active, that's making $350,000, that could be work. Just like managing a woman that's active and making $350,000, that could also be work. You know, like if you're going to be arm candy, that's not you can't just sit around and think you're going to maintain the arm candiness, even with the good genes. So you gotta work. It's a hustle and bustle maintaining a home, especially a home that's from affluent people.
Okay.
You know, you can't because remember, like you're talking about a particular kind of person. If you're making that kind of money, they're around a certain kind of people. So you can't just fall off because that could actually harm your family. That could harm the reputation of your guy or vice versa, your gal. So it is work. You may not be banging hammers or typing some document for some office, but it's a different kind of work. It's a different kind of work, you know?
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you with a lot of the points that you made. Again, depending on whether this individual is a male or a female, we don't know. We just kind of, like I said, filled in the blanks and made up the narrative as we went along. But it does say that they were the sole breadwinner and had a household. We don't know if they actually have children. We making that up. But to your point though, that you're right. That $10,000 can go very quickly, and I can completely see it. Do you? Well, okay. So, thank you.
I'm just trying to add value to the.
No, it's good because I didn't think about the upkeep of the woman because I can tell you now, this hair right here, this hair by Murph, hair that I have, in all of it costs. In all its 22-inch luxuriousness.
Listen, it's yours.
It does. It costs money. No, you're absolutely right. 1,000%.
All right.
And whatever MLO says, the more money you make, the more money you spend. That is definitely the American way.
That is true. But listen, I'm gonna let you go. I definitely appreciate you bringing me up. I don't want to handcuff the live because I could get talkative and I love these kind of talking points. But I gotta go. Thanks for bringing me up, and I guess I chop it up with y'all. Chop it up with you another time.
Okay, thank you. Oh gosh, thank you, y'all. He is a law student, and he has a show about a particular law student specifically, and it's really good. He has been talking a lot about Meg the Stallion. I have been on that, y'all. I have been stuck. Do you hear me? Like, I didn't get any work done on Wednesday. It was too many bombshells that were dropping all over the place. I was in there. So if you like hearing people dissect legal issues, please go over and check Mr. CKB out. And it's so funny because they're so formal in court. He calls me Miss Boss. It's so cute. But yeah, definitely the more money you make, the more money you spend. Like I am 1,000% with you on that. I tried to make a promise to myself that, okay, like I try not to live over $70,000 a year in terms of lifestyle, but that can get really difficult. It can get really hard when you have money to spend and you want to go here and go there and do these things. And I mean, I get it, but I don't know. Again, everybody, I feel two different ways. One, when we start talking about budgeting and things like that and home ownership, a lot of the problems that we have right now, reason why people are not able to attain the home ownership is because they don't make enough money. But then it's like when you get the money, you have to be able to manage how you spend that money. It's equally as important as making the money. That whole hundred and all right now, you got a new sub, Mr. CKP. Yay. But yeah, as I wind down, because I thought it was gonna be for about an hour or so. I will say this. I know for sure, just based on my 8 years in mortgage, based on me seeing scenarios just like this come to me all the time on all different income levels. You can have this same exact scenario and their person have trash credit. And you're like, well, how is that possible? How can you not pay your bills on time? You can have, somebody spending 50% of their income, because again, I keep going back to the fact that people are stuck on the fact that this person makes $350,000 and has $170,000 in auto loan debt. That is literally somebody making $100,000 a year, which I will make this bold statement and say $100,000 is not a lot of money. You think it's a lot until you have it. It's not a lot of money. It goes real quick. But $100,000 and all you need is one BMW. Boom, you met that 50% threshold, just like this person did with their 2 electric automobile payments. So it's not hard to believe, And I see I had another loan officer here, your favorite MLO. I'm telling you, the things that we have seen, I'm telling like the things that we have seen, and the only reason why people feel so comfortable with trash talking this person that makes 350,000 is because they are unable to see themselves in the situation. We as loan officers see this all the time. No, you cannot have a $400,000 house making $60,000 a year, sir. Ma'am, why do you have $12,000? Y'all, I will never forget, somebody had $12,000 balance on an Ann Taylor Loft credit card. I was like, woo, child, Miss Thing be dressed down when she go to work every day. I can't reconcile. Like, what is wrong with you? What's the matter with you? Those are regular people. But when we start to open up a dialogue and we're ready to really talk about money, and we're ready to get real and peel back some of these layers and really look at your slip. Oh, no. You don't want that. You shouldn't be judging people. Don't be judging people. The only reason people are completely comfortable with talking poorly about this person that is living below their means, based upon the calculations that we make in the industry, a $4,500 a month mortgage payment is not a lot for somebody who is making $30,000 a month. $170,000 in car is not a lot. It's normal for somebody that's making $350,000 a year, y'all. It is. I'm telling you, I see people do it all of the time. We have written books. People don't read them, though. It's a lot of books out there. Don't nobody read it, though. It is wild. So, anyway, that's all I got. I appreciate you all tuning in, listening to me and my little rant. I've been going for about 1 hour and 24 minutes now, which again was a little longer than I expected to go. But I appreciate you all being patient with me while I'm figuring this whole live streaming thing out. Hopefully I'll be able to pull little nuggets here and there, fine tune some things, and be able to do this again. I really appreciate you so much. Thanks, Terrell. I appreciate you. Yay, good job. All right, y'all. I will holler at y'all another time. If you all need any mortgage questions answered, please throw them in the comments. Please give me some ideas. But I promise you, I could share stories for days and days and days and days and days. If you know somebody that needs to get a mortgage loan, I'm your girl. I'm licensed in multiple states. I'm happy to help with any purchases or refinances. All right, y'all. Be easy.